talk, I'm a delicate dark girl. Okay, don't want to be a bow, that's fine. Black Radiance Skin Refining Primer. It's got a putty-like consistency. Where's my mirror? I'm kind of nervous to talk about this, but I really want to. When this channel used to have a Twitter, I posted it there, and basically I'll just make it short and say I'm not 100% for the push for inclusivity in beauty, because the trend is not putting the inclusivity pressure on the right portion of the industry. I feel like the push should be more towards stores rather than beauty companies that are making the products. Hear me out. I personally feel that stores are the ones with this actual responsibility. And I say that because they are the ones that serve the public and put themselves in neighborhoods, etc., blah blah blah, in market for people to come in like it's a one-stop shop. And I feel like it should be of service to everyone. Yeah, I understand why people want certain brands to have more inclusivity with shade range and all those things, because those are the brands that are widely spread in more stores. But my belief has always been that these stores just need to be including more brands, because there are already brands, multiple brands of different kinds, cruelty-free, vegan, people who specialize in skincare, people who specialize in just lip or eye, people who do face products and blushes and things like that. There's all kinds of brands in this free enterprise economy that the world is making that cater to very specific needs for very different communities. And I feel like more of those brands need shelf space. I don't need the same brands extending what they do. It's great if a brand extends what they do, but I'm not going to be the one to tell you to do that. I'm not tripping, and I know why people are tripping, because if that's the only brand in the store, you need to be making something for everyone. But my thing is, that shouldn't be the only brand in the store. A lot of Black-owned brands or Asian brands in America, like there's a new Asian brand, I don't know if they're new, but they're new to me. They're called Orca, and they specialize in like Asian skin tones. Like stuff like that should have more shelf space. Maybe in the past year or two, they just started putting more Black brands than the ones that we're used to seeing, more than 3 in the store. For my area, we always had them. For a lot of people in a lot of areas, they don't even have those brands in the store. And to me, that's like, what is the store doing? Besides the point, you get what I'm saying? They always had that issue because they only had the same kinds of brands in every store, in stores that are accessible and in their neighborhoods, but nothing for them. For people of color, different skin tones, darker skin tones especially. And I'm just like, that's not really up to the brand though. The brand needs to make its own decision whether it's gonna make these shades or not. It's really the store. The store needs to know that, look, we have all these one dimension of shades here. What about all the other people that we need to service in this community? Why don't we reach out to these other brands and ask if they want to put things on the shelf? I feel like that's a store's duty, and now that stores are doing that more with indie brands and stuff, that's how I feel about inclusivity in general, because I always feel like inclusivity is one step closer to erasure for people of color. So for instance, once you have inclusivity, you have these big brands that aren't really concerned with variety of skin tones or whatever. You get the problem where people are basically subjected to the same shit all the time. And when you get inclusivity in, you have the big brands who are able to do more outreach than an indie brand that's already trying to cater to these markets. And this could be an opportunity for them to grow. But instead, you have somebody with more seniority, more push, and more money who blocks you out of the blocks you out of the business economically. And I feel like that just marginalizes people even more, because if you can't even make your space with your community, where exactly do you make your space? You get what I'm saying? So that's really the topic for tea time. How I don't particularly care for this individual brand push for inclusivity. I'd rather people come to do on their own, while the structure itself, like stores that are facilitating the business to consumer relationship, work on inclusivity. Because the inclusivity doesn't mean anything if the same people hold all the cards. Inclusivity should be bigger than these high-end brands that are popular because of their longevity, including more shades. And it should be more about rearranging who exactly gets to call themselves high-end, because there aren't a lot of people of color who get considered high-end unless they have included the sitting structure within what they do. That's my biggest problem with inclusivity in the makeup realm. I didn't even tell you the concept of my makeup. My makeup concept is going to high tea. Range Beauty has gone through some repackaging, like rebranding of her packaging. So if you're going to go find Range Beauty bottles, they don't necessarily, they kind of look like they're still this shape sort of, but I think the top is different and the signage is definitely different. It looks like a little sunburst now. And you know, that's another thing. Here in America, where a lot of darker people are like, people think I don't exist or don't buy makeup, and I see these arguments like in Norway or whatever. People were making the argument that this one brand that's sold everywhere shouldn't have to make dark colors because there's literally not enough people and they won't buy it. And my thing was, that's not the right argument. If you're gonna say that that brand shouldn't make it, you should say that brand shouldn't make it because they don't have to. Here are these other brands that make darker products and they're sold in drugstores in Norway, but they probably can't say that because the drugstore themselves is not thinking about that population. And to me, that's the problem. They need to do the footwork. They're a store. Individual brands, the argument shouldn't be there aren't enough people, so we're not gonna make it. If that's your real logic, if your brand is that tight, that one person should be the person you want to be like, well, we'll make this one for you. Our brand is that good and we want this to reach everyone. Now, if the real reason is you don't care and you don't want to reach everyone, you have certain people you want to reach, that's your business. But don't make it seem like it's the public's fault for not having enough people. That's sloppy to me on the individual business end. And it's sloppier because the store still carries someone who's like, we would do it, but it's not worth the time and effort. That's disrespectful. And so I'm not saying I'm excusing those kinds of things. I don't like those kinds of attitudes towards business at all. What I do understand is that not every business has to do everything, because there's other businesses that will do it. And honestly, since they were thinking about it with an honest heart and earnest mind, they're gonna do it better. Because how many times have people been like, we're now including whatever the hell, and it's been crappy. And yes, there's time for a learning curve, but at the same time, sometimes that learning curve stays exactly where it is because the person doesn't even want to learn. They're just doing it so everyone will get off their butt. Every individual like cosmetic brand, I should say, doesn't have to be inclusive. But if you've got like a store, if you're like Ulta, Sephora, Morphe, CVS, whatever drugstore you have in your neighborhood or country, the drugstores and stuff like that that sell cosmetics, all of them need to be more diverse in their brand choices. Your storefront, you need to cater to even the 3 people that live there. They live there, they pay taxes and that helps with the property on your storefront.
What are you talking about?
My camera. What do you mean, who am I talking to?
We should buy some more rice.
And oh, there's not enough rice? Let's zoom you in here. But yeah, basically that's my whole mixed feelings about the, you know, call for inclusivity. In this society, there are so many people coming out with so many products. And honestly, I think that was the biggest thing. Before, there was a select few like Fashion Fair and Black Ratings, Black Opal, Iman. And Iman didn't come out till the 90s, I believe. But the rest of them, like Fashion Fair was around for a very long time. But for like as of right now, I can't even really find Fashion Fair anymore in their website. They're currently not taking orders, and I'm worried about the company. And I feel like that's a thing. Like, you know, some of the fancy brands or whatever that I have that were kind of in the Fashion Fair realm, so like direct to consumer, like specialty, like grown products, when they started boxing people out economically by saying, well, we're the ones in the stores, you know, we can afford the shelf space and we can afford the adverts and we can afford pushing our product on, you know, people. Fashion Fair seems to me like a mid-sized brand. So when bigger, like corporation kind of brands that are bought by like even bigger companies or boxing them out by taking those spaces in stores and basically taking visibility away from them by being like, look, now we're so inclusive. I felt like it kind of drives smaller to mid-sized brands that were always for and about the community, treating you as the -- it pushed them into a hole. And like, it makes me sad because, you know, I'm only one person. And I'm only one person with 2 little measly jobs. And I can only buy so much stuff. And then I can share the stuff. And I'm not saying like you have to only buy these things. Because I buy whatever I want. I buy from all kinds of brands. But I do prioritize my daily spending in drugstores a lot. And I would like to see more variety on drugstore shelves outside of Target. And Target doesn't really have that much variety. They put all in one little section. Basically all the indie brands are like in these, they split the row into 2 and give it to the brand, or split it up and down. That I don't like, because you know, the other brands, bigger, more money, they can afford 4 or 5 rows full of their full extensive lines of craziness. And these other brands are designated to these little corners, I guess, because they can't pay the money to get more shelf space or whatever it is. They don't have enough pull, really. I'm gonna go in with Tarte. And I just really feel like having Tarte on my eyes. I haven't done that in a while. Woohoo! I did more talking than I did makeup. My makeup's not even anywhere near done. Okay. So I'm gonna hurry up and finish this. But basically, that was my tea time talk with you at 4. Let me know. Should I turn tea time talk into a series where I talk about my unwanted opinions about things in the beauty industry? I don't have many, so. See that sheen? I really like that. Like when you really just spread it out thinly all over the eye. That dual chrome Tarte, it's really pretty. Get a little closer. I like that a lot. I'm gonna put a tiny bit more. Hopefully you can only go forward, but one person is still holding the purse strings. You can't call that diversity. You can't. It's not real inclusivity. It's just somebody throwing you a bone. Now, that is not to say you shouldn't buy, like I just said. It's not to say you shouldn't buy from certain people and all that other crap. This is just me talking, like tea time talks. Hello. Here just goes Black Radiance retractable eyelid. I'm just tight lining. This one just really just rubs right onto your eye, like really easy. And you know, I usually retractable pencils, they really aren't my jam too much, but Black Radiance is. I'm gonna use the Cake Pop liner. We're just gonna back, or just zoom you in actually. Why not? See that? Isn't that pretty? And we're only gonna do just like right on top of the eye. I'm not gonna do a wing. No, I won't do a wing. The Cake Lollipop liner draws beautifully. The tip is really soft though, so that could get on your nerves, but for some people, it's your eye and you don't want like harsh things there. So that might be a selling point for you. For me, it's too easy for it to make too many marks, and that kind of frustrates me. Okay, that's as far as it goes. Then we use Pat McGrath. Because I just want to make the eye clean, but very bright and very prominent. Like someone who's wide awake and here to listen. Because at high T is for conversation and meeting. So you want to look pleasantly attentive. Back up. Now we move on to lip. I'm gonna put the base down, which is gonna be black opal, and then Uoma. This is my favorite color right now, this Miriam by Uoma Beauty, and that's gonna go on the top. I wish my hair was done better, but it's not. And then, because it's tea, I'm just gonna give myself a little highlight here. There, we'll just put a little under the outer corner of the eye. On both sides. I think that's the convenience of it being in a stick. Then I was thinking about blush, but maybe I'll just leave it. But I do want to talk to you about Ethiopia, the single from Juvia's Place. So this is it. It's just a standard like coppery kind of brown that makes a great blush. And that's what I keep it in my purse for. I found it to be a really good blush for the face. Anyway, done. Simple high tea makeup. And I filled in my eyebrows today without concealing them, so that's kind of new for me.
I saw two people at the bar who were so in love. Even I could spot it clear across the room.
I'm gonna put crepes.
Guess who I saw today, my dear? I've never been so shocked before. I headed blindly through the door. They didn't see me passing through. Guess who I saw today?